it's so much more meaningful for me and precious that when I am ready to work, I work. Whether it's for 15 minutes or for an hour and a half, I took total ownership of that whole process.
I felt absolutely overwhelmed, and I had too many ideas to really get focused in on what I needed to do, and no way to consistently sort them is probably the nicest way to say it. And I felt guilty all the time. I felt like I never deserved a break, and I felt like I was never going to be able to grow out of it.
I was, purely in the psychological pit of the world is not allowing me to do this thing. It's going to be impossible because I'm not allowed to get what I want, et cetera.
You romantically look at, I'll have this huge chunk of time and I'll get to work on it nonstop. And that was never the case. Experiencing those stops and starts and interruptions that life throws at you was very frustrating for me, which would then send me down the spiral of blame and I'm not doing it right. And what am I doing wrong? That small voice that starts to go, maybe this isn't what who are you? Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe this is just a hobby.
I have a hard time with my inner critic, basically. I work on things and I work on things and I work on things. And if it was up to me, I would never actually deliver them or finish them because I love the process of working on them, but not so much the process of, finishing things.
I was really in a place of struggling to validate my own existence as a writer, even with books published, even with an upcoming novel. I still had that sort of question in the back of my head.
I've dabbled in other workshops, other sort of self-led exercises that were supposed to help with productivity. And oftentimes I felt like I didn't belong because you don't really get my situation. It's not as if I'm a CEO of this major corporation or I'm managing people. I'm just trying to manage me. So I came to the workshop out of just sheer relief. Phew, someone gets me.
Community is a big thing for me, and the chance to kind of form some community and feel like we weren't all working through this together was a big deal.
And I got the mail and I thought that it was a great moment to actually see if I couldn't, through this workshop, actually find some tools and a way for me to get rid of that inner critic and actually get my butt in the chair every day writing, which will turn into weeks and which will turn into a finished screenplay and eventually a finished film.
Your materials are all incredibly professional. Every recording that you did is done professionally. The sound quality is there. You really bring your best game to the Creative Focus Workshop. And so it made it a pleasure to learn from you.
You're smart and you have a good sense of humor and there's just a down-to-earthness and an honesty that is grounded in your experience as a creative, that you can't fake.
At first it got worse. I'll be honest. All of a sudden I had to face what I was doing with my time. I mean, was that ever a shock? And there was a little truth-telling that went into why I was putting in 16-hour days then, right? And there was a little truth-telling into why I felt so out of control and overwhelmed and had no focus.
I guess the first sort of revelation was to look at the calendar and recognize what time I actually had to play with in any given week, to recognize that I could claim that on my calendar as creative time, make it more or less sacrosanct unless the house was on fire or something.
The aha moment for me was, my God, there are so many other people out there like me in this same situation, right? So I'm not alone, which was such a relief.
For me, the biggest takeaway is permission to schedule creative work like an important task.
And I have given myself a promotion. It's amazing how much my firm has grown and how much clarity I've gotten around what I do. I am able to go and sell projects now that I would never have even attempted to follow up on as a result of what I have learned.
The huge aha with the time tracking was everybody gets the same 24 hours, right? That knows no, there are no like levels of that. It's like the same 24 hours. And then choosing, I get to choose that, and how empowering that was. And that was so huge.
I realized that, oh my God, I was working so differently, 6 months ago than how I am today. And obviously, I'm not working, perfectly today either, but I think there's a lot of things I do and a lot of tools I have that makes basically my everyday really, really much better.
So defining myself as a novelist is something I had always had a really huge problem doing for people. And I can't tell if I thought it was pretentious or if I just didn't think I was good enough. I think that really flipped a switch for me of, I don't want to say self-respect. That seems really, right? You know what it is? It's self-respect as a writer, and taking myself seriously and allowing myself to take my own work seriously.
Yeah, I mean, quite simply, I guess understanding that I can have the thing that I want. Things, you can't predict what's going to happen in life suddenly or whatever, but that all things being equal, there's no reason I cannot get what I want. And, sort of build the creative life that I want.
Join! Oh my gosh, don't even hesitate. One of the best investments I've made all year. Jessica sent out an email calling for early registrations, and I opened it, and I opened my wallet, clicked on the link, and signed right back up.
It's time and money so well spent, and it's such an investment in you and your work. It really is. And I think that's where creative people, and I think our culture, it doesn't value that. We need to step up and value that ourselves in order to get where we need to be. So I think this workshop is a welcome mat to that investment in yourself.
What you will find out is basically, like I did, is that you can read about this as much as you like, and you could take notes on your own, but it's not before you're actually in a workshop, doing the assignments each week, having this community around you, having Jessica to lead all of this. That's when you're gonna see changes. That's where you're gonna see your life being transformed. So if you're on the fence about it, I would say don't think about it, just join. And you can thank me, 3 months from now or 6 months from now if you take my advice.